Hello, everyone. This video is intended to discuss the types of questions you will see in the final exam of English, Term 2 for the year 2023-2024. This video is going to be helpful for students of 11 Advanced, 11 Elite, and 12 Advanced. Before I start discussing the changes that you will see in Term 2, I just want to add something to the grammar PowerPoint that we discussed before in our video. Because we discussed clefting and fronting. Actually, when I made the video, I released it before the MOE PowerPoint was released. All the points are the same, exactly. The ones I discussed in the video are exactly the same as in the PowerPoint, except that I just wanted to add 2 more sentences to the examples that were using clefting and fronting. So you can refer back to this grammar video if you're not sure what I'm talking about. We talked about the example using the word no, the expression no matter. So this is an example of clefting and fronting. So you can add to the list the fact is. 2 expressions. I can use the fact is, and then you can say the sentence. The fact is I can't multitask to the level you require. And also the thing is. The thing is it will eventually close down no matter how much you try and save the business. These are the only 2 sentences that I did not mention in my video discussing the grammar points. Okay, for those who did not watch the video, I really recommend you do that, especially before we do the maze test in this video. Okay, so now let's start the discussing the changes that you will see in term 2 specifically. You know that in term 1 you had 2 sessions. The first session is for writing, second one is going to be for reading. This is going to stay the same, except that in the writing session, there is a new addition here. In term 1, you had only 3 parts. Part 1, in part 1, you had to write the plan, and then you had to write an essay about the same topic, of course, in the plan. And then in part 3, you were given a text, and you had to answer 2 questions of inference and justification, and the total was 40 marks for the whole paper here. The plan in term 1 was given 10 marks. Now, because there is a new addition, a new question is added, which is going to be the opinion. So because of that, this question is going to be given 5 marks, and then only 5 marks will be given to the plan, and then the essay will stay the same, and the last question will stay the same. So total now you'll have 4 parts in this question, and the total marks will stay the same, 40 marks, and the time is going also to stay the same. It's going to be 90 minutes for the whole session. And then part 2 is not going to change in terms of number of questions, but there is also a change in the first question. If you remember, in term 1, you were given 5 sentences where you had to reorder some words in order to get correct sentences. This question will not be there anymore. Instead, it's going to be replaced with another maze task, which is supposed to be short, only 5 questions. So I would say the total number of questions will stay the same here, and the total mark is the same, and also the time is the same, 60 minutes, okay? So first, I will share the topics that the MOE shared with us, which will appear in your exam. We have 3 topics: business, people, feelings, and emotions. Okay, and when I say these 3 topics are supposed to be in the exam, this means that you will see them in the reading and in the writing. So this means that the topics or the narratives or the text that will be in the reading part will be all revolving around these 3 ideas, and also the writing essay, of course, has to be related to one of these areas. Okay. Also, the Ministry of Education shared with us a list of vocabulary. Okay, actually, this is supposed to be vocabulary, not topics. There's a mistake. Sorry, I will change it when I finish the recording, inshallah. Anyway, here is a list of vocabulary that will appear in the exam. So these will appear in the reading for sure. I recommend that you read the words. If you don't know any of them, study the words before you go to the exam. And there is an idea that you might try if you want to confirm that you know how to use the words. You might take a list of these words especially, for example, if you look at one topic, I would take the list related to business and I would ask ChatGPT to generate a text using these words, and I would try to read it to see if I can understand and I know how the words are used. This will make me remember the words more. Okay, and if you know them already, it's okay, no need to study them. So you can screenshot that or just this screen, or just wait for me to post the PowerPoint, inshallah, and I will give you the link for this. Okay, next, I also created some suggested writing prompts, okay, in the 3 areas. So here, if you want to practice writing before the exam, and I highly recommend this, you can't go to the exam without any practice, especially when it comes to writing. I need to practice writing, meaning that I need to write a full essay, a full question of writing, meaning that I will write the opinion, the plan, and the essay, and I need to have a timer with this. Okay, so let's say we can have 1 hour for all the 3 parts. Okay, and see if the time is good for you, if you need to change any of the strategies. So do this at least 1 time or 2 times before the exam. Only in this way will you be able to deal with the stress of the exam on the day of the test, inshallah. Okay, but for people who would like to try this, be careful here, because I did not include the planning part. I assume that you know there should be a plan using the same bullet points. So when you do your practice test, try to ensure that you have the plan part and write about all of this. Okay, you can again screenshot this if you want, or just see this in the PowerPoint later, inshallah. Okay, right. Let's discuss the first session, which is going to be the writing, and I would say reading, because you will have a text which you have to read, and then you have to answer 2 open-ended questions. The duration is 90 minutes, it will stay the same. Okay, we start with a new question. This question you did not have in term 1. It's going to be given 5 marks, okay? And I'm including an example here related to the topic of business. What do you think about starting a new business and why? When we looked at the examples from the MOE, we found they were so general. Like, what do you think about holiday, for example, and why? Very general. It might be this, or it might be something specific. For example, like when they say, what do you think, or do you think that starting a new business is easy, or anything like that. So be ready for whatever, and know that this is preparing you for the next one, which is going to be the plan and the essay. So what do I need here? Of course, you have to provide 2 sentences, at least 2 sentences, okay? Tips that I need to share with you are that you need to provide, in this question, you need to provide an opinion, your opinion in response to this, and then a reason, and then an example. Okay, so let's all agree on this. In order to get your full mark, inshallah, you need these 3 things. You also need to use expressions to show your opinion. For example, you can use something like I think, I believe, or in my opinion in the beginning of the sentence, right? And this is the most important tip, in my opinion. Do not write much here. If you spend a lot of time on this question, you will waste the time that you need for the essay. And as we all know, the essay is going to be given 25 marks. You don't want to waste your time on this one and lose the time for the most important question in the exam. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing an example in which you will see that I shared my opinion and a reason and an example. So here I'm saying, I think starting a new business is not an easy task because I'm providing the reason now. It requires a lot of hard work, time, and dedication, and then full stop. For example, now I'm giving an example. People who plan to start a business need to plan carefully by preparing a budget and learning about their potential customers and their preferences. Okay. Right. One thing you need to notice here, because I noticed my students made this mistake repeatedly, which is that they think that this, I think starting a new business is not an easy task because it requires a lot of hard work, time, and dedication. Some of them believe this is 1 sentence. Actually, some of them believe these are 2 sentences because I provided the reason. Actually, this is only 1 sentence. Why? Because when I say one sentence, I need to see an end mark. And then what are the end marks in English? In English, we have 3 end marks: a full stop, an exclamation mark, and a question mark. I don't think you will it will be appropriate here to use a question mark. I don't think it's a good idea to use a question here, because you're actually answering a question. And I also think it might not be good, unless you find a reason for this, to use an exclamation mark. So in order to say that I have 2 sentences here, you have to make sure that you have 2 full stops in order to say that you have 2 sentences at least. If you want to add an extra sentence, that's fine, but please, please make sure you don't write much. You're not going to be penalized. You will not be punished by losing any marks if you exceed and write more than 2 sentences. But the whole idea is you will waste your time. Be sure to finish this in a very short time, and you have to plan this before you go to the exam. So say, for example, I will have 5 minutes for this question, I will have 10 minutes for the next one, for example, and the rest of the 1 hour I will give to the essay. You need to have some sort of a plan before you go to the test. In my opinion, this question is easy, and it is supposed to help you because it is not about a different topic. It is the same one that you will write about later. Okay, so people who are scared of this one, I don't agree with you. You should see it as an advantage. Okay, then we go to the next one, the plan. Now it is going to be given 5 marks instead of 10 marks in term 1. Okay, and it's going to be the same. Nothing is changed here. Write a plan for the essay prompt. You will see this on the day of the exam. Please note this question asks for a plan, not a full essay. You will write the essay in the next question. They usually write this because some people are confused, because usually in the plan and in the essay, they will see the same bullet points. So what usually happens is that some people are confused. They write the plan in the box of the essay, and they do the opposite when they write the essay. Now, for grade 12, specifically for grade 12, you're going to do this online electronically. You're going to use Swift SS for this. So the only choice for you is that you'll have a box and you'll have to type. Okay, for other grades, grade 11 advanced and grade 11 elite, please make sure you follow instructions from your teachers, because you are going to have this on paper. So if your teacher allows you to use some graphic organizers to draw boxes or to draw circles to organize your ideas, it is totally fine, because you have the freedom to do this as long as you're doing it on paper. But for the grade 12 advanced, you only have one option, which is to type. I am going to share with you one sample. This one, in my opinion, sample answer 1, I think this is the easiest. And I think I shared this with you in term 1. We discussed this before for people who watched my video before. This is the easiest one. Why? It will save your time. It will save you a lot of time, because what I did here is that I took the exact 3 bullet points that were mentioned in the question, and I took them and I made headings out of them, and I added my own bullet points right under. Okay. Most important thing here is that it should look like a plan. When I tell you to create bullet points, I want to tell you that you don't need actually to have long sentences. This is only a plan. It is supposed to be a short one. Okay, it is supposed to be finished quickly, and remember, it is going to be given only 5 marks. So you need to finish it quickly to be able to go to the next question, right? Okay, now for people who would like to start with the essay first and then go back to the plan, it is totally fine. But again, especially for 12 advanced, because you're doing this online, be very careful. Know where you're typing. Know which box you're typing, because you might you might cause yourself a lot of problems if you write in the wrong box. One clue that will make me sure where I'm writing is that usually in the plan, if you look here at the bottom of the page, you will not find the number of words mentioned here. Okay, so here usually in the plan you will only have like the bullet points, and no word limit is mentioned for you. Whereas in the essay, usually they will give you the limit or the word limit will be mentioned there, okay? So sample answer 1, I think is a good choice for people who would like to save their time, okay? And again, I'm going to show you another one. Sample answer 2. It's exactly the same, but what I did is I added more details. I added an introduction with 2 bullet points, and I added a conclusion. So if you like this one and you feel like you have the time to do this, go ahead and do it. No problem. Okay. Sample answer 3 is exactly the same. Again, I use the same bullet points, but instead of like using these, using the exact same wording for the bullet points, I changed and I kind of summarized the title. So instead of saying details of my business idea, I named it as business idea. And the second one is problems, and the third one is solutions, and then introduction and conclusion. Now, remember, the plan is totally individual. In order to take your full mark, what you need to do is make sure it looks like a plan. It is not formed as paragraphs, full paragraphs. No need for full or complete sentences here, okay? And remember to make sure it is clear enough and it has enough details, okay? So this is everything about the plan. Okay, and as I said before, grade 11 advanced, you also have the option of drawing or creating any form of graphic organizers on your paper. Okay, now if we come to the essay, as you can see here, the word limit is going to appear. So for people who usually would like to start with the essay because they think this is giving more marks and I need to finish it first and then go back to the plan, because some people do this. They will start with the essay, finish it, and then go back to the plan. The plan for them is going to be in the form of a summary of what they wrote before. It is totally fine, but just make sure you're writing in the correct box. And as I said, if you see the word limit here, then you're actually looking at the essay box, which means you are in the correct place, right? Okay, so what do I need to do here? If you wrote the plan in the beginning, you can take the same ideas in the plan and just expand your sentences in order to make a full essay. If you want to start with the essay, it's okay. I still want to use the same bullet points. I'm going to share a sample introduction, which I believe is so easy. This introduction can be helpful for people whose English is not that good, or for people who feel nervous on the day of the exam. Some of you tell me, Miss, on the day of the exam, I feel totally lost. Like I have so many ideas, but I don't know where to start. I feel so scared and I don't know what to do. This idea might help you to find ideas easily, because what you do is simply you will take the main topic of the essay and write 1 or 2 sentences. Give me a topic sentence, like a general idea about the topic that you're going to write about, 1 or 2 sentences in the beginning, okay? And then in the same paragraph, list the 3 bullet points that you will write about, as simple as this, right? Let me show you how I can do something like this. There is no doubt that starting a new business is an easy task, as it requires a lot of hard work and time. Actually, this is the same sentence that I used in the opinion question. If you feel on the day of the exam that the sentence you wrote before can help you, like, does it fit here in this one? Can it be written as part of the introduction? It's okay, no problem, you can do this. If not, you can find something else. Like whatever they ask you to write about, think of a topic sentence, something, a general idea to say about the topic. For example, if they say, if they ask you to write about education in the UAE, let's say, which will not be part of your curriculum because it's not one of the topics, but let's give an example. If they say write about education in the UAE, and then you have to cover 3 bullet points. So if you want to write a sentence about education in the UAE, you can say, for example, education in the UAE is very advanced. This is a topic sentence in the beginning, and it's going to be the sentence that you will use in the beginning of your introduction. If they will ask you, for example, to write about an environmental problem such as deforestation, so you can start with a sentence saying, deforestation is a major issue or a major problem. No one can deny that deforestation is a major problem. Okay, I'm trying to keep it simple for those people who usually feel stressed, to make sure that you have something that is guaranteed to give you the mark. And then right after this, what did I do? I just got the 3 bullet points and I listed them. I said, I'm going to talk about this and this and this. Okay. So here I said, in this essay, I will write about, you can say, I will discuss, I will shed light on, I will explain, I will anything, use any verb in order to say that this is what I'm going to do. I will write about a business idea that I'm thinking about. I had to rephrase a little bit here because here, of course, they're using the pronoun your, so I have to change to my, of course. I will write about a business idea that I'm thinking about. I will shed light on expected problems. This is the second bullet point, and that I may face, and will further explain suggested solutions for the problem. Okay, so for people who are able to rephrase a little bit, do that. I know students are different. You have different abilities. Some people are really, really good. If your English is amazing and you can start with a hook, with a question in the beginning, with a stunning fact, it's okay. Go ahead and do this. Do what you're able to do. No problem. But for those whose English is very low and they don't know how to start, this might be a good idea for you. Okay. So what do I do next? Again, I'm going to focus on the bullet points. Okay. I'm not going to share a full essay because I'm usually afraid if I share a full essay, some people will copy. But let me give you some tips before I show you how the full essay will look like. The most important tips here are: do not copy or memorize essays for so many reasons. Number one, if you manage somehow to copy from Google or from anywhere, usually the markers will be able to see, like there will be some sort of a background color behind your text. So we will be able to see that you actually copied. This is one thing. And even without this, people will be able to source your information. We can go and find like where you took this information from, and you're going to have a big problem here, because any part that is copied from the internet usually is given a 0. So if you copied one paragraph, we will imagine this paragraph is not there and mark the rest of the essay. If somebody copied the whole essay, then this person for sure is going to get a 0. Also, memorizing essays is the same, because if you memorize something and then somebody will find it in Google, then it's the same thing. This one, I think some of you might find it a little bit weird, but this is based on my experience, you know, in marking papers in term 1. Avoid using definitions and specific numbers and statistics. Why? Sometimes people will use very complicated definitions. Like, for example, okay, they will say, I think it's a very good idea to give the definition of business. Okay, fine, it's totally fine. If you think it's a simple definition and it's your own creation, go ahead and do it. But if you think it's something complicated or somehow you copied it, usually this will be the first sign that this student might have cheated. We will keep thinking as markers, how did a person come to the exam with such a complicated and difficult definition? How were you able to memorize this definition? And how did you know that this topic will be in the exam? Also, specific numbers and statistics. Some people will write like, they will mention some information about some certain studies, research papers, and they will mention specific percentages. So how were you able to get this percentage? How were you able to memorize it and come to the exam with that? Okay, so I would try to keep my writing as simple as possible. And remember that usually the MOE will give you topics that will require some sort of a choice and will not ask you for something very specific, because they know that they are testing your ability to write and they are not testing your ability to remember information. If you remember, in term 1, you were also given a choice of, you know, you were supposed to choose some certain technology or something. So it was kind of, you were kind of given some sort of freedom to choose what you're going to write about. So no need to memorize like definitions or numbers or stuff like that. The next one is related to discover all the bullet points. What does this mean? If I stick to the 3 bullet points, this will be the one thing that will save me if the marker suspects that I cheated or something. They will always go back to the 3 bullet points. If they think that this person wrote in a level that does not fit with a grade 12 student, for example, they will look at the 3 bullet points. Are they fully covered? Usually, if they're fully covered, we will understand this is your own writing because you're actually responding to the task. So always cover all the bullet points. What happens if I don't? If you miss one of the points, you might lose part of the mark. If you miss all of them, it means you are writing about a totally different topic, which means you might lose a big mark. And sometimes the marker might decide to give you a 0 if it's not related at all. And yeah, this one is really, really important, even for the good students, the excellent students. Sometimes they make this mistake. They keep writing beautiful sentences, but the marker doesn't know what you're talking about. So my advice is to start your paragraphs with topic sentences using the bullet points. This will help you in many levels, okay? Number one, you will stay focused, okay? And number two, it will be also a good thing for the marker because all the markers are looking for the 3 bullet points. Did the student cover all of them or not? So if I see those sentences in the beginning of your paragraph, this means I can find that you did this very easily. You will save my time as a marker, right? And I will show you this, how we can do this in a minute. Do not write about a different topic. This is a sad fact that some students were trained, for example, in the class with the teacher. The teacher probably gave them a test before on a similar topic, but it does not include the 3 bullet points. So they decide, okay, I memorized this one or I know how to write about it. Okay, I will write the same essay that I wrote in my class and I will not look at the 3 bullet points. I don't care because I write what I know about. This is really dangerous because you might end up getting a very low mark if you don't stick to the 3 bullet points, okay? And finally, you need to write a good conclusion. Like when you finish, make sure that the last paragraph, and this is something so easy to do, make sure you start with something that will show this is a conclusion. Like use words like finally, in conclusion, or in summary in the last paragraph. Why? Because usually one of the criteria we look at when we mark your paper, we need to see if we have organized paragraphs. We need to see if you have an introduction, we need to see if you have a conclusion or not. So this part is really important, okay? Now, I'm going to show you how the essay is supposed to look like. In my opinion, the ideal number of paragraphs, and this is my opinion, you could have more or you could have less, it's fine. I believe 5 paragraphs will be really good, okay? So if you look at this, look at the introduction. This is the introduction I shared with you now, okay? Just a simple introduction. As I said before, if your level of English is higher, go ahead and write something better than this. It's totally fine. And then look at the first or the second paragraph right after the introduction. What I want you to do is start your topic sentence of each paragraph with the bullet points. So they asked you to write about or share details about your business idea. So it's okay. The first sentence should be this: my business idea is, or the details of my business idea are, okay? Or my business idea is mainly about, okay? So let me see that some of the keywords or synonyms of the keywords in the beginning of your paragraphs. This will make it so easy for the marker to know that you did not cheat, you're writing about the same topic, and it will be easy for me to see that you're covering the 3 bullet points. It's so easy to see that you are writing an organized essay. Then if you look at the next bullet point, okay, this will be the 3rd paragraph. So paragraph 1, introduction. 2 is going to be discussing bullet point 1. 3 is going to be discussing bullet point 2. So in bullet point 2, they were asking you to write about challenges, I think expected challenges or difficulties or problems, right? So use the same word or a synonym, a word that means the same thing. I expect to face some difficulties Some of them are so and so, and explain and give examples, okay? Or you can use a word like challenges or problems, or it's not going to be easy because some challenges are expected. Do it in any way you want, but make sure that you start with this. This is the only way that will ensure that you will not drift away from the topic and write about something different. And then the next one, this is the third bullet point, my suggested solutions. They were asking you in the third bullet point to write about solutions that are suggested for this problem. So you can start your sentence, your paragraph with this sentence: my suggested solutions for the above mentioned problems are, and then start discussing. It doesn't have to be the exact same wording, and every essay is different from, every topic is different from another, but this is the idea I want to give to you. Whenever they have some bullet points, start to use the same bullet points to make your own topic sentences in the beginning of paragraphs. Some of you might want to do it at the end of the paragraph. It's okay, but I prefer in the beginning because it's going to be easier for the marker. You can, in the conclusion, you can write, show that this is a conclusion. In conclusion, finally, say something that will make me feel this is a conclusion, and you are free, give advice. Again, it depends on the topic that is given to you. Give some advice to people, or summarize if you're able, summarize the points that you discussed before. It's okay. Okay. Right. How about if my English level is so low, I cannot produce 5 paragraphs, there are too many for me? It is again okay if somehow you can merge the introduction with the first bullet point. It's okay, no problem, you can do that. If you feel like the first bullet point can serve as an introduction, go ahead and do that. Okay, and then you have to cover the next one and the third one. And then in the conclusion, if you feel like the conclusion and the third bullet point can be merged together, like in conclusion, I have to deal with problems and something like this, it's again totally fine, but less than 3 paragraphs will not be a good idea. Okay, so as I said before, my ideal number is 5 paragraphs. Can I increase? Yes, you can, no problem. If you feel like you need maybe 2 paragraphs to discuss this bullet point, go ahead and do it. If you feel like, some of you might feel like, Miss, I want to discuss the difficulty and a solution in the same paragraph, one problem and a solution in the same paragraph, and then I go to a next paragraph with another problem and another solution. It's totally okay, as long as the 3 bullet points are covered in your essay and they are clear. It's totally fine. Okay. So this was the end of the writing part. As I said before, I personally recommend you do not exceed 1 hour, okay? Because you still have the inference and justification question. And this one for this text is going to be a little long, okay? So you have to give it enough time. And I will share some advice with you about this one. Remember, this question is only given 5 marks. Okay, so there will be 2 questions for the first one, inference, and 3 for the second one. Now I curated this text. Okay, this text is going to be divided into 2 slides because it's a little long. What we need to do is read the text. I can ask you to pause the video. Pause the video if you want and read it, or if you want like to postpone this till you watch the video and look at the PowerPoint and do it in your own time, it's again totally fine. Okay, so this is the first slide. Okay, we're supposed to read, and then this is the second slide, the second part of the text. If you want to pause and read, it's again okay. And then we will look at the inference and justification questions. Okay, right. For the inference question, it might be different. Each text might be different from another. Justification is always the same. Like, tell me why your answer to the inference question was correct. So here they're asking us what opinion will the writer have about offering 1 full year of paid paternal leave to new fathers. طبعا people who read the text will say, Miss, there is nothing at all mentioned about this. Nobody mentioned anything about any paternal leave. Paternal leave means like when a father is or a husband's wife gives birth to a new child, then the father should take 1 year of. Okay. Right. What is the idea here? I actually designed this question based on the question that you had in term 1. I think it looked very similar to this one. What did you have in term 1? You had a text about AI, right? And the whole text was discussing the opinion of the writer on AI, okay? In the inference question, and this is a mistake that many of you, I think, had in the exam. The question asked you to write your opinion on or what the writer will think about future advancements in technology in the future, right? And the text was about AI. The problem is that some of you wrote that the writer will think blah, blah, blah about AI, okay? The problem is that they asked you about new technology, not AI. You have to mention something that was not mentioned in the text. So the ideal answer was supposed to be in term 1 that you should mention that I expect the writer to have this kind of opinion about new technology. He's afraid that it will have some disadvantages, but at the same time, it also has some advantages. And then in the justification, you have to say, I believe he will have this opinion about new technology because I can see in the text he had a similar opinion about AI, okay? So be careful what you're writing about and what the question is asking you about. Right, now let me summarize what the text was about. I assume that you read the text already, the 2 slides here, okay? These 2 slides were about the problem of work-life balance. The whole text was discussing the problem of work-life balance, problems associated with this, mental problems that can affect employees, and the fact that they can be less productive if they don't have work-life balance, and that the employers should be responsible for this. All of this stuff was discussed here, okay? So if the writer has this opinion and believes that that it's important to have balance between work and life, so what do you think the writer's opinion will be about giving a one full year of paid paternal leave to new fathers? Do you think he will agree? He will say it's a good idea, or he will say it's a bad idea based on the text? Of course, I would say I think the writer will completely support the idea of giving a long leave to parents in order to give them, there's a mistake, in order to give them, it's supposed to be in order to give them enough time to take care of their families, which will guarantee the well-being and productivity of the fathers when they go back to work. So this is all I need in the inference questions. What do you think will happen next? If it's a story for the general, but for your classes, it's going to be an information text. So I believe that the writer will think this or will have this opinion. How? You have to justify in the next question, okay? Fine. So why do you think this question will always be the same? Why do you think your answer to the inference question is the best one? So you have to give reasons for the opinion you gave in the beginning. Okay, so this is what I said here. I think my answer is the best one because throughout the text, the writer mentioned I need to refer to the text, okay? How work-life balance is important, okay? For example, he referred to the fact that, notice here that I took a line from the text, okay? But I don't want to take like a lot of things from the text. I'm using, or I'm trying to paraphrase using my own language, but I'm also referring to specific words or lines in the text. This imbalance can lead to a diminished sense of fulfillment and hinder personal growth, which means, now I am paraphrasing using my own language, which means that not having a good balance can lead to serious problems. Now, I recommend you give another example, give another piece of evidence, because usually if you give one example, you will probably lose a mark or something because you need to provide more than one example to support your answer. So here I say another piece of evidence to prove my answer is correct is that he mentioned the necessity of, okay, a collective effort. Collective effort means effort like shared between people. which means that employers, people who give you the job or people who own the business, must have a role to bring balance into the lives of their employees. Giving a longer paternity leave is a good example of how employers can have a contribution in this area. Okay, so you see, I read the text, I understood what the opinion of the text or what the opinion of the writer is, and then based on that, I am thinking of another opinion or an opinion about another topic which is kind of related to this topic. Okay. And here I'm going to share some tips specifically about this question. Do not copy the whole answer from the reading text. As I told you before, people who will copy, because some people felt like my students told me, Miss, we didn't have any time because they spent too much time on the writing part. So by the time they had to get to this question, they didn't have any time to deal with the question properly. So what they did is that they copied a whole paragraph and they thought, okay, this is the answer. As I said before, the marker will be able to see that you copied. So if the marker does not remember or doesn't want to look at the text, they will see that there is some sort of a, I think it was like a light blue background behind your text to show that you copied the text. Okay, so if it's only this is your answer, only copied, nothing else is written, I don't think you will get a good mark. You probably get a 0. Do not infer something that is already in the text, and I already discussed this with you. It's an inference question. So you're supposed to find something that is not actually or directly mentioned in the text. As I said before, in term 1, some people wrote about, okay, I think the writer's opinion about AI is, actually they're asking you about new technology. New technology is not the same as AI, okay? So be careful. When you infer something or you guess something or you reach a conclusion that is not in the text, it's not explicitly mentioned in the text, but you have evidence that will support this, okay? Do not mention an idea, of course, that contradicts with the text. Like in the previous one, I showed you that this person was all the time supporting the idea of having balance between work and life. So how come if I say no, he does not support any paternity leave, it doesn't make any sense, because it means that I don't care about parents, I don't care about personal life. So do not say anything that goes against the text. Finish the writing early to save 30 minutes for this part, because most of you complained, especially in term 1, about how difficult the text was and how that you didn't have any time to finish it because of the difficulty and because you spent too much time on the writing. Now, one more thing I'd like to confirm here. If you read the text and you find it too difficult, like so many difficult words, please try not to focus on specific words. This specific text, the entrance and justification text, is about understanding the whole idea. I need to get a certain idea, okay? So no need to focus on small details and keep thinking, oh, I don't understand this word, so I can't continue. No, try to keep reading quickly to get the main idea and then see what the question is asking you about. And most probably, I think you can get something there, okay? I would not lie to you. It's fantastic to know the meanings of all the words. It will make you feel more comfortable if you understand all the words. But if you don't panic. You have to do something. So try to finish it quickly. Do not leave it blank for sure, because if you leave it blank, you'll sure take a 0. And try to think of something. And sorry, remember that we don't get an answer key for this question. Yeah, the markers are not actually given an answer key. But what happens is that we share opinions, and some answers make sense and others don't, you see? Okay, so this is the end of the first part. Now we move to the second session, which is going to be reading. Usually you're given, all this session is going to include multiple choice questions. And the duration, as I said, is going to be 60 minutes. So usually you will be given a maze task in the beginning. This one, I believe, is going to be a short one, and I think it's not going to be covering the grammar points. It's going to be something easy based on your previous knowledge of basic grammar. So we will do this one together. only 5 questions. It's going to be given 13.33% of your total mark, which is the 100. Okay, so you have to read carefully, and as you're reading, try to answer the questions. And once you finish the whole maze, I would read it again to make sure that or the sentences make sense to me. In order for a business to survive or survival or surviving, and I believe in the final exam, I think in term 1, they didn't give you these words here. They were only here. So here you will see a space and then you have to choose, okay? So to survive or survival or surviving in today's world. Of course, to is followed by an infinitive, so to survive. In today's world, it is important that we regulate or regularly review, and you need to continue, but let's try to think of this one, okay? Yani, I have a verb, and right before the verb, there is a word, so for sure it should be an adverb with an ly, regularly review. What are we, we are what, or what we are doing and how we are doing it. Correct answer is what we are doing, because it's not a question here. I cannot say what are we. It's not a question, it's a relative pronoun. Then the next one, by considering new ideas and new ways of doing things and trying to innovate, we can improve or improving on our products or services. Okay, of course, the correct answer is improve. Can is usually followed by an infinitive. And then continue reading. Of course, you have to read every word. Don't skip any parts because it will affect your understanding of the whole text. Reduce costs and make our processes more effective or less effective or least effective and efficient. Efficient is something good, and so you need also another thing which is good. And of course, it makes sense that it will be more effective and efficient. Okay, so this is it. After you finish, I really recommend you go read it again. By the way, the 2 maze tasks, I believe, are going to be so easy. But the problem is some of my excellent students make mistakes with very, very easy questions simply because they are not paying attention or because they're nervous, okay? So yes, it's true that you have to go through this very quickly because this is your chance like to finish something quickly and go to spend more time on the reading text. But again, like finish it quickly and just one more time, read the whole text and see if it makes sense. If everything is fine, you don't find anything weird, then khalas, go ahead to the next one. The other maze task, I think, is going to focus on the grammar points that you studied before, the ones that are shared in the PowerPoint of the ministry, but be prepared. You might find something extra. You never know. Okay, but at least we have to go to the exam prepared with these grammar points. So here I suggest for people who didn't watch the grammar video, please try to watch it now. It's not going to be a long one, but it will summarize all these grammar rules for you. So here, let's start to read. Happiness in people's lives is intricately linked to authentic self-expression and maintaining cheerful connections. Be very careful here that I see a full stop. If you're not able to see this on the day of the exam, make sure you maybe make the screen bigger or something somehow, but make sure you are able to see the punctuation. It can change a lot of things. Okay, now I know that I'm starting a new sentence. So is it believed, or it is believed, or it is believed that genuine relationships and open communication play pivotal roles in leading a fulfilled life. Okay, now we studied this in the grammar part, and of course I know it is believed. Okay, so these are reporting verbs used in the passive form. Okay, go to the next one and continue reading. Never before. We discussed this before. Never before. Okay, did scientists realize, or had scientists realized, or scientists had realized that harboring resentment, hurt, or anger can be devastating until a survey was conducted and blah, blah, blah. Okay, then here, never before had scientists realized. Why? Because originally I can see that there is a past perfect tense here, and I will have like two different events. One happened earlier and the other one happened later. But most importantly, I have never in the beginning or never before in the beginning, which means I have to apply inversion. So instead of saying scientist had realized, I will say had scientists realized. It will look like it's a question, but actually it is not a question. It's only inversion, okay? Then the next one, oh, sorry, I showed the answer, but okay, we will explain it. The harboring resentment, hurt, or anger can be devastating until a survey was conducted and shocking results. Of course, yeah, you can see here, this is past tense because I'm comparing two different events. This one is the new one. And then I'm adding another event to it. So it should be the same tense. So here, a survey was conducted and shocking results were, because results are plural, right? Then we go to the next one. If these issues were addressed, now I can see there is a conditional coming. You know that conditionals are part of our curriculum, okay? If these issues were addressed or are addressed or had been addressed before, many people would likely be or will likely or would likely have been happier now. I'm looking at both sentences together to try to see what type of conditional this is, okay? So it seems that I'm talking about something that happened in the past because I have the word before. Before means I'm talking about a past event. So this is a third type of conditional, okay? So what should it be? It should be had been addressed before because I'm talking about the past. So I need to use past perfect tense to show that this thing happened or was supposed to happen in the past. And then many people, okay, would likely, would likely or be or will likely or would likely have been happier now. Be careful with the word now. Now means that I'm talking about the present. If I'm talking about the present, I will not have verb to be at all. Sorry, I will not have verb to have at all. So I need would and the infinitive. So would likely be happier now, okay? For those who are not sure what we're doing, especially in this sentence, you can watch the video on conditional sentences, sorry, mixed conditionals, right? Then next we go to no matter. No matter how life gets hard or life gets how hard life gets, and we discussed this before, it's no matter how hard life gets. If you're not sure how to use this, I would memorize one example and then apply the rule to all the similar sentences. No matter how hard life gets, no matter how difficult this exam is, okay? Seeking support from friends, family, or mental health professionals can provide a profound impact on one's overall well-being. Acknowledging, let me look at the next question. Acknowledging emotional struggles and addressing them constructively is essential. Okay, then we're starting a new sentence. There is a full stop. Okay, be careful with the full stops. Should you, or you must, or you might need help navigating these challenges? Keep reading, please. Reaching out to your psychiatrist was or would or is a crucial step in fostering mental health. What do I have here? For sure, I have, what do you feel? This is a conditional sentence, okay? And we discussed this in our grammar video before, okay? We said that if I use should you, it simply means if you. Should you here means if you. So it means if you need help navigating these problems, okay, then reaching out to your psychiatrist was or would or is a crucial step, okay? This is supposed to be a first or a zero conditional, so it needs to be in the present. So is a crucial step in fostering mental health. Then full stop. By cultivating positive connections and proactively addressing negative emotions, individuals will be on the transformative journey toward a happier and more satisfying life. A research paper about anger management will have been finished or will finish or will be finished by 2025. This is future perfect passive, right? As I told you in the video before, you look at the word in the beginning here. A research paper. Is a research paper able to finish itself? Of course not. So it means this is in the passive voice tense, which means I need to have a verb to be. Usually passive tenses include verb to be. So will have been finished by or before 2025. This paper is expected to have made or to make or to be made a difference for those who have anger issues. Of course, this is to make, because I'm talking about the future. And as I discussed before in the grammar video, usually if I say to have made, I'm talking about an event that happened in the past already. Okay, so this is going to be the second maze. Now we start right after this. We'll have part 7, which is going to be a reading text of 6 questions. This one is supposed to be easy and the questions will be direct. You just go and find them. Okay, and I will tell you how to do this very quickly now. And then after this, you'll have part 8, 11 questions, and then part 9 is going to be the same as part 8, same questions, but you'll have 4 questions about the main ideas. Type. People complained a lot about not having enough time to do all of this, to read all those texts. When I discussed the problem with my students, this is what they said. Most of them said, Miss, the way we dealt with the exam is that we started by reading the full text in the beginning to understand. And then we looked at the questions one by one, and then we are reading again in order to find the answer. Now, this is fine if you have enough time. If you don't have enough time, and I discussed this in an earlier video about how to read faster. I shared one of the tricks on how to deal with a reading exam very, very quickly. Because you don't have the luxury of doing this, reading the whole text and enjoying your time, like reading, you can't do this. This is what you're going to do. The very good thing about Swift Essays is that it would look exactly like the slide that you see in front of you right now. The text will appear on the left and the question will be on the right, okay? And then you click next, you will see the next question and so on. So what I will do is as follows. You will read question 1, okay? Try to understand it, fully understand it, try to remember, and try to see what I'm going to be looking for when I read the text, okay? The good news and the whole trick is about the fact that questions or answers for the questions appear in the same order of the paragraphs. And this is something that many of you do not know. So what I need to do is read question number 1. Go the text, read word by word. I'm not saying that you will just look for the keywords and try to find the answers without reading. You have to read the full text, because without this, you will not have a full understanding. So I will look at question number 1, find my keywords, and then start reading from the beginning. When I find my answer, because I will find it while I'm reading, okay, I will choose the correct answer and then move to question 2, read it and continue reading. And believe me, all the questions will be in the same order. While you're reading, you will be finding the questions one by one in the same order, okay? So let me show you how this is done. Okay, so I have a text about whatever, I don't care. What motivated Muhammad Kazim to quit his government job? So I need to find the reason for him, or what was the thing that motivated him to leave his job. So I'm looking for quit, leave, resign, whatever. Was it lack of interest to make a difference in the region? Was it better job opportunities? Okay, we'll start reading from the beginning. Driven by passion and a vision. An Emirati entrepreneur is well on the way to contributing to his culture's fashion footprint in the UAE. Muhammad Kazim saw a market for his idea and went for it. Kazim, 32, wanted to make his mark in the region. So he decided to resign from his government job to follow his dream. Okay, so was it lack of interest? So here I have the word resign, okay? And I have quit in the text, okay? And I have the choices, just keep looking at them and decide which one is correct, okay? Fine, yes. So if you look at this one and the one before, you'll find that the closest answer to this is going to be to make a difference in the region, okay? To make a mark in the region, okay? Now, where did you find this? Yani in the beginning of paragraph 2, okay? Let's look now. We are going to continue reading, but Before I continue my reading, I have to look at question number 2. This is the technique you're going to apply, and try this with any of the text. Look at any reading text or any previous exam you had. You will find that this is always true, especially if I am giving you a specific information question, okay? Usually this does not apply, of course, for main ideas and these things. But if you're given a specific information question, usually they are in the same order, which is a very good idea. طيب, Kazim's team wanted to start an idea that will include elements. So I need to focus on the idea. What kind of idea was it? Keep thinking about the question, like process it in your mind. Include elements from different countries, show local culture, or focus on colors. Okay, so where did we stop last time? Here. So let me continue. I quit my job with another colleague, he explains. Not long after, along with Munira At-Tamimi, Ali Al-Yoha, and Amin Mamlouk, he began brainstorming ideas. Now I will, think ideas for a project to focus on. After some thought, they concluded that their project or idea, should include 3 main social goals: to preserve identity, now keep looking because you will find your answer here. Represent the Emirati culture and color people's life. So, of course, you can see something here, which is similar to this. This is the answer, okay? Now, what we are supposed to do, yes, you will go click on next, look at the 3rd question and read it, and then continue reading, okay? Never leave any read the whole text, because I know some people will feel tempted, okay, miss, I will just find the keywords, go exactly to look for the keywords and find that this is not going to help you because you will not understand. You need to read the text fully in order to understand it fully, okay? But it's only that you're saving probably half of the time by reading the text twice. You're reading while you're answering at the same time, instead of reading in the beginning with no clue what you're looking for, because you will read, but just to understand, but you don't know what you're looking for. And then you are going to read again when you read the questions one more time. So let's look at question number 3. What is true about Kazim's team in the beginning? Okay. They were clear about what to do. They were not sure how to start, or they had different opinions. So let's continue reading. Okay, we stopped here. Okay, we didn't know where to start. Here is the answer. You see, right there. We didn't know where to start. The Dubai-based Kazim admits he wanted to leave a good legacy in our community, but we're clueless about how to move forward. Okay, so of course, and they were not sure how to start, right? Okay, then what happens after this? Again, go to question number 4 and keep reading till you find the answer to question number 4. Question number 4, what was the reason why the Zbiriya became unpopular? We will know what Zbiriya is in a minute when we read the text, okay? Was it the high cost, complaints about discomfort, or unpleasant colors? So keep reading and read the whole thing, okay? Kazim and his team decided to build on this Zbiriya. You see, if you do something like this, you will not even understand what Zbiriya is if you miss one paragraph without reading. I repeat, you have to read the full text. Anyway, Kazim and his team decided to build on this Zbiriya, which is a traditional men's sandal worn by people in the GCC. They went through historical photographs of the old souk in Dubai and the types of footwear people wore in the past. I'm looking for something about unpopular. Why did people stop liking this thing? We wondered why such footwear died out, like it's not there anymore in this part of the world. He says, adding that the answer was simply that it wasn't comfortable to wear. So here is one of the keywords, okay? And here is my answer. It wasn't comfortable to wear, so complains about discomfort. One more question. There is, of course, this part is another slide, which is a continuation or a completion of the text. Now, what challenges did Tamashi face in their journey to create the sandal brand? We will know what Tamashi in a minute, but at least I took an idea from the text. We need to look for the challenges, for problems, or any word that means this. Was it lack of interest from the community? Was it difficulty finding the right manufacturer and logistics issues? Was it overwhelming success from the start? So let's read Today, people look for style and comfort, something missing from these periods of years gone by. So they began and keep thinking and looking for challenges, for problems. So they began their reinvention of the traditional footwear, adding colors and comfort with a 21st century twist, eventually launching their sandal brand Tamashi. Now I know what Tamashi is. The journey was not easy. I can see some problems coming. They were met with many challenges. Now I have my word. From the detail of and the logistics involved in creating their own brand through to finding the right manufacturer, right? So this is the one I'm looking for, and the similar answer is this one, okay? The last question is, why are artists from other GCC countries being hired, okay? So where did we stop? Okay. Yeah, here. However, their efforts were rewarded when a factory in Spain agreed to work with them. And remember, I'm looking for a reason why artists from GCC are working with them. Is it to ensure the Emirati culture will be acknowledged worldwide, or is it because they are paid less, or is it because they have more experience? So let's continue reading. Tamashi released its first collection last year, and it became a big hit. Today, the UAE-based Tamashi sandals are known for the range of colors and comfort. For Tamashi's founders, coloring life is dear to their hearts. Still nothing about GCC artists. So continue. They place importance on integrating art and fashion in the footwear. For this reason, the team has been recruiting artists from the GCC. Here's what I'm looking for, as a means of encouraging the community to work together and represent the culture of the UAE internationally. Okay, so here is what I'm looking for. Okay, and you can see here, and usually in all exams, usually they play on the use of synonyms, words that are or mean the same thing. Yani here, for example, I can say internationally is the same as worldwide. Okay, Emirati culture acknowledged, here it's represent, you see. So here is this text. I'm sorry, I had to read the text word by word, but I had to explain my technique of doing this. I actually tested this. I looked at all the texts in my grade 12 general and 12 advanced of term 1, and yes, it was true. All the questions were in the same order, except for the ones that are asking for impression, for example, impression of the reader about a specific character or something, or something about the main idea. Only these questions, but usually the ones that are testing your knowledge of the details are usually in order. I don't think I will be able to cover all of this, but the next text, just for your information, is going to be a reading, and it's going to be given 14.64% of your total mark for 11 questions. This means that the mark for each question is not going to be a lot. So as I said before, you can follow the same technique here, okay? Except if you find some questions about, impressions or inference or what could be inferred in a certain paragraph. So I will not read this one, of course, but I will just show you that here we have some keywords. You can go through the PowerPoint because I will leave you a link, and you can have this PowerPoint. You can spend time on it if you want, okay? So here is, for example, question 1, but I will have to comment on some of the questions. Okay, here is another one, number 2, number 3. Okay, company, and then okay, here you can find the answers. Okay, these are just specific information or details questions. You just go and find them, and you will notice that they are in the same order. Okay, fine. Number 6. Yeah, for example, this one is asking about the description of this person character in a specific paragraph. Okay, so if you go for this one, you have to be careful to read paragraph 5. Okay, let's read this together. Amna thought about what to do. Should she stop some projects? This is a text about a lady who had she started a business earlier, and she was very successful and smart and everything, but then all of a sudden she had a problem because one of her products was great, but she found out that the problem is that the costs for this product were really high. So she needed to find a solution for this problem. So in paragraph 5, you have to read paragraph 5 because they are asking you about what do you think or what could be inferred, for example, in paragraph about 5 about this one. You can see here in this paragraph that she sat with her team, she tried to confer with them and share ideas and stuff. So what judgment can you make about her character? Is she self-opinionated, like she only listens to herself, or she values teamwork, or she's easily affected by others' opinions because she's listening to them? You'll find that the answer is she values teamwork, of course. Okay. Also, this one, be very careful. Again, in paragraph, it could be inferred that the solution Amna might choose is. Be very careful with questions like these. If they're asking you about an inference in a specific paragraph, do not look at the whole text. I'm looking at this specific paragraph. In this paragraph, you will notice that, okay, inferred means something that is not actually there. Be very careful. In this paragraph, we are giving choices. Like Anna we're thinking of 2 different solutions for the problem. Should she stop some of the projects or should she ask for help from outside? And then here, you'll have a line which says that she is ready to do anything, but she is not going to give up on the creativity that made her company special. So if you are given these 2 choices and you are given the decision here, so which one should she choose if she is not going to, sacrifice the quality or the creativity? Is she going to stop the project or ask for help from outside? Of course, it's seeking external assistance because she is not going to stop some projects if these are the only choices. Later, when you read the text, you'll find that this was not the solution chosen. You see, it was a third one. She thought of something else. But I'm just trying to show you that if I'm asking about a specific paragraph, be very careful to read only this paragraph and decide based on this. Okay. Here is also another question, just another question. You have to find it here, just specific ideas, details, okay? Again, specific ideas. Okay, there are 11 questions, but yeah, inshallah, most of them will be easy. Okay, here is this question again is like asking you about your judgment of the character throughout the whole story. Okay, sometimes they will ask you about what kind of change is noticed in her character in the beginning till the end. For example, the mood of the story. What is the mood of the story like? You see, so okay. And also they can ask you for a good title for the story. Usually you'll find a question like this at the end, because they would never do this unless they would make sure that you actually read the whole text, which confirms my idea that you need to take question by question, okay? And by the end, when you finish, you will have had a whole idea, a complete idea about the text. And in this case, you will be able to have a judgment or to have an idea about the whole text and what a good title could be, you see? Okay, right after this, for people who feel like oh, it's too much, we don't know what to do, the next one, part 9, is going to be the same text, okay? So if you read it properly in the previous one, this is going to be an easy task for you. And it's going to be only 4 questions, and the mark that will be given for this will be 5.36. They will mainly ask you about what is the main idea in a paragraph, okay? So for example, what is paragraph 1 mainly about? You just read paragraph 1 and you'll find the main idea and choose. And I think what I noticed in term 1, almost nobody complained about this one, except if they didn't have time to do it. This is the problem. But most people said the questions were clear and easy. This question is asking about 3 and 4 together. Okay, so you have to read 3 and 4 and focus on the main idea, not the specific details. Be careful. Like, imagine I'm going to write a title for these 2 paragraphs. If I'm going to write the title, this is going to be it. Okay, and then the third one is asking about paragraph 5 only. Okay, reasons for the problem, choices for Amna. So you have to read it carefully and decide. Okay. Okay, paragraph 6. So usually you'll be given 4 questions here to check the main ideas. There was just one question I needed to rivet your attention to, which I think was given to the grade 12 general in term 1, where they had a story about a lady who was having a test or something like this. And then another question that was given to them was mainly about what does the reader feel towards the character. What is the like? So this question, of course, is not found in the text. You have to think, okay, if this lady is sitting in an exam and she's having a difficulty, she doesn't know how to answer. So what does the reader feel towards this lady? Do you feel sympathetic? Do you sympathize with her? Do you feel you're disapproving of her behavior? Like, why didn't she study or something like that? And for sure, you have some clues, but this is some type of question I wanted to share with you because I've seen it in the grade 12 general. Okay, this is it. This is everything. I really wish you the best of luck on your next exam, inshallah. Please don't panic about time. If you organize your time well, and if you try to have some practice tests before, especially the writing part, as I said, have a timer and make sure you finish the writing at least in 1 hour if you can. If it doesn't work, try another strategy. Keep practicing until you find a technique that will work best for you. I would be more than happy to receive any questions. If you need anything, you can just ask any questions you want in the comments section, and we'll be more than happy to deal with this. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best of luck.